The boss says it's go time for the Leafs. Problems on the Olympic hockey front? And is this it for Ovi? We'll discuss all these topics with our insider, Pierre LeBrun, today. Pierre, let's start in Leafland, where you had an interesting conversation with the man at the very top.
Yeah, Keith Pelley, CEO and president of MLSE, caught up with him yesterday at the Board of Governors meeting in New York, Gino. And as you know, Pelley has taken more of a day-to-day role with the hockey team after Brendan Shanahan was let go last spring. And one of the things that Pelley said is it's been really enjoyable, quote unquote, to work more with Brad Treliving and Craig Berube. But within all that, of course, I asked Pelley about, the fact that in Mitch Marner's exit, it does leave the Leafs with more cap flexibility, but also with a hole. And one of the things that Pelley said is that, and the cap's going up. So he said, quote, it's go time. And I think reading between the lines there, what he's saying is Brad Treliving has the full green light to take a swing here before the March 6th trade deadline this season, which isn't surprising. I mean, Brad Treliving himself has talked openly about, hoping to upgrade with a top 6 forward if he can between now and the deadline. And also the fact that, the Leafs are deep in their window here. As Pelley said to me yesterday, look at the age of our roster. There's some urgency to wanting to get over the hump here this year. Easier said than done, though, Gino, I would say, in terms of taking that swing, right? I mean, the Leafs don't have a first-round pick coming up in June. They don't have a first-round pick the year after that. They've traded those picks away. So they're going to have to be pretty creative, I think. Obviously, they're going to try, but I'm just saying it's not as obvious as it sounds to go out and upgrade before March 6th.
They do have the cash, though, and that's pretty critical. All right, we're less than 4 months away to puck drop at the Winter Olympic Games, and there's some concern about the main arena where they're supposed to play the hockey tournament, Pierre. Give us the latest news on that front.
Yeah, so, here's what's happened here in the last couple of days. The Associated Press had a story out of Milan, Italy, confirming with local Olympic organizers that a test event for the main hockey arena has been scrapped for December. Well, because they weren't sure the rink would be ready. And that set out, red flags everywhere. Commissioner Gary Bettman, after the Board of Governors meeting yesterday in New York, told us that, yes, he is concerned. And in fact, he's been concerned for a couple of years. We quoted him, you were there, Gino, in Seattle at the December 2023 Board of Governors, where he talked back then about his concern about the plans for that rink. But since then, I asked the IOC for a reaction to all this last night, and given the time difference, they got back to me this morning, Gino, and what they said is that they believe the arena will be built by mid-December, and that there is now a planned test event for early January for this arena. Let's hope that's true. Let's hope that all happens, because obviously there's a lot of people concerned, because there is no plan B. I do not believe the IOC has a plan B and another rink they can go to have the men's and women's Olympic hockey tournaments. So a lot of people paying close attention to this developing situation.
Still on the international scene, Russia's still banned from the Olympics, so we won't see Ovi in the tournament. So what is Ovechkin's future in the NHL? We're all asking that. He's in the final year of his current contract with the Caps. Do we see him extend this year, Pierre, or do you think this is going to be it for the game's all-time leading goal scorer?
Yeah, so it's undetermined, and I think that in itself is an important update, because, there's this idea out there, I think, that he knows and the Caps know, but they want to keep it a secret. And I talked with someone in the Caps organization in the last 24 hours, said that's not the case. He really emphasized that Alex Ovechkin isn't sure yet. He wants to play the season, see how his body feels, see where the team is, and then at some point we'll make a decision. And that the Caps themselves don't know where this is all headed. Obviously, if he wants to come back for another year, they'll sign him with open arms. His deal is up at the end of the year. The reason there's been some mystery to all this, as you may remember, Gino, is that there was an email that went out to season ticket holders after last season from the Caps that said, come and enjoy Alex Ovechkin's last season. That email was quickly brought back in, and there was a statement from the team saying that is not the case. We don't know. I hope that person still has their job, because that was not a fun time for the organization that day. But the bottom line is Alex Ovechkin is going to see how he feels, and then at some point he'll decide.
Yeah, and you know what? We'll miss him when he is gone. Another major milestone is on the horizon for Ovi. He's now just 3 goals shy of 900 for his career. The full version of Insider Trading with Pierre, CJ, and Dreg is coming up on the early edition of SportsCenter.